small business which is start by, maybe suppose you want to start a beauty parlor. Okay, let's consider that you want to start a beauty parlor. You are keen in fashion and makeup and all, so you have started a parlor. So will it be considered as a small business or will it be considered as a large business?
Small business.
Why small?
Because because you have did less investment in it.
Very good. Less investment in it, as you are just starting with the business. So obviously you cannot flourish that to many cities, you don't have, you will not have many branches throughout the city. So it will be just restricted to one shop or one parlor, and you are giving employment to few employees who will be working under you. Your investment will be less, your capital will also be less, as well as your profit will start growing. From the day one, you will not be having a good amount of profit because it's a small business. Okay, so let's see what is written here. It's written, as per Industries Development and Regulation Act 1951, the small scale industry is defined as any enterprise which employs not more than 50% when using power and 100 when not using power, and with capital assets not exceeding to rupees 5 lakh. So what does that mean? When you are using power, power means you are using machineries or plants that will produce the goods for you. For that, the minimum or the maximum employees you can employ is 50. And if it is a totally labor intensive kind of a business, like I just gave the example of beauty parlor, so there you don't need any kind of machineries. Everything is you have to, you have to do it labor intensively, right? You have to do the facials, or you have to do the haircut, or you have to do the pedicure and manicure. So everything is labor intensive. Persons are working on that. No machineries are involved. So for that, 100 employees you can employ, and your capital assets should not exceed more than 5 lakh. So if these three things are there, that will be considered as small scale industry. Am I clear till here?
Yes,
Till
ma'am.
here?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So after that, it is written whether a business enterprise is a small or large depends upon its volume. Volume means how much extended it is, how much amount of capital you have investment, how many employees are there who are working under you, or who are working with you in that particular business. So here it is written, some of the prevalent parameters for measuring the volume are volume of capital invested, which I just gave the example that it should not exceed rupees 5 lakh. Next is value of output. That means how much production you are producing. Suppose if you are doing a small scale business, a small scale parlor, and you have only employed suppose 2 people under you, along with you. So how many clients a day you can attend? Maximum 50, or
Mm.
or let's take the example of 20. 20 is the maximum client that you can attend in a particular day, because you have less amount of employees who are working under you, right? So the output means the amount of money you are getting from the clients will also be less. The value of output is less. Am I clearing your doubts, or am I messing it up?
No, ma'am. Got it.
It's fine. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next is number of workers. So just now I gave that example. So number of workers will have to be 50 if you are using any kind of power. And if you are not using any kind of power, then it has to be maximum
100.
100, not more than that. So this is the meaning of small business. Before I proceed to the classification, from you, I want to know what have you understood from small scale business definition. Just now,
It is the
whatever I have explained, just tell me.
enterprises where the investment is not done more than 5 lakhs,
Very
and
good.
where you employ 50 employees. When you're not using when you're using power, then you employ 50, and when you are not employing, then that should be 100. Yeah, 100 employees.
Very good. And what do you mean by power?
Power is machinery or any asset.
Yes, any kind of, not asset, any kind of machineries. Power means, suppose, as we all know that if 10 people are needed when there is no machinery, then 10 people are needed to do a particular work. But if there is a machine who do all the work, then obviously one person is needed to just run the machine, who will do the work of that 10 people which you have employed before, right? So power
Mm,
means when you are using machine to do a particular work, and without power means when you are not using any kind of machine, you are just using your labors to do or complete a work. That is without power. So that time you need 100, and if you're using any kind of machinery, then maximum 50. Okay. Next, we come to the next slide. I hope this is visible to you.
yes, ma'am.
Classification of business enterprise. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So here, any business enterprise is mainly divided into two parts. One is manufacturing enterprise, one is service enterprise. I hope you are aware of this, right? One is
Yes,
production
ma'am.
concern and one is service concern. So
Service.
can you give me one example of manufacturing concern and one example of service concern?
Service, we have banking, transport,
Very good. You
and
are a brilliant student, I
manufacturing.
must say, Harshita.
Manufacturing is like production of raw materials into finished goods.
Absolutely right. So any business enterprise is divided into manufacturing enterprises and service enterprises. So manufacturing enterprises are classified as follows: micro, small, and medium. So under small business, if a manufacturing enterprise is a small business, that will be classified into three categories. One is micro enterprise, where the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakh, and small, that investment in plant and machinery does not exceed rupees 5 crore, and it will be considered as medium level if the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 10 crore. So a manufacturing enterprise will be considered as a small business enterprise, and it is classified into three categories. One is small, one is micro, and one is medium. Micro is where the investment in plant and machinery, obviously in manufacturing concern, you need plant and machinery for manufacturing goods, right? So it will be considered as micro only when its investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 25 lakh. If it exceeded 25 lakhs, suppose if it is 26 lakhs or 28 lakhs, then it will come under the category of small. It will
Yes,
it
ma'am.
will not be termed as micro anymore because it has exceeded 25 lakh. So when the investment in plant and machinery does not exceed 5 crore, that means still 4.9 crore investment also, it will be considered as small. The moment it crosses 5 crore in the investment of plant and machinery, it will be termed as medium scale manufacturing enterprise. Until 10 crore, it will be considered as medium. After that,
Mhm.
it is considered as large scale. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So what are the three things? Micro, small, and medium. Micro, the investment should not exceed 25 lakh. In small, the investment should not exceed 5 crore. And in medium, the investment should not exceed 10 crore.
10 crore.
Fine. Shall I proceed to the next slide? Till here,
Yes,
is it
ma'am.
clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. Okay. Fine. Next, we are coming to the service enterprise. As you have already told me, service enterprise means when you are providing services to the for the smooth running of the business or for the smooth purpose or smooth running of any kind of activity of any human being, right? That is known as service enterprise. You just gave me the example of banking. We have insurance, we have transportation, we have warehousing, we have all this services which comes under the service enterprises. So when will a service enterprise will be termed as micro, when it will be termed as small, and when it is going to be termed as medium. So
Medium.
here it is written when the investment in equipment does not exceed rupees 10 lakh, it will be considered as micro. Can you tell me what was the thing in manufacturing enterprise to be termed it as a micro?
25 lakh.
Very good. So there it was 25 lakh, but if we are considering any service enterprise, it has to be it should not exceed 10 lakh. So here the parameter has changed to 10 lakh to be considered it as a micro one. If it crosses 10 lakh, but if it doesn't cross 2 crore, it will be termed as small scale service enterprise. So in case of manufacturing, how much was that to be termed as
5
small?
crore. 5 crore.
Very good. It was 5 crore, but in service enterprise, it is 2 crore.
2 crore.
Okay. If it crosses 2 crores and it doesn't cross 5 crore, it will be considered as medium. And what was the parameter for manufacturing enterprise?
10 crore.
10 crore. So I hope this part is clear to you, because these questions come in short questions, objective types. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
So 3 categories: micro, small and medium, but the parameters for the manufacturing enterprise and the service enterprise differ. Next, shall I proceed to the next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, what are the features of small business? It is also a very important question. Mostly this question comes in 3 marks or 4 marks. Okay, not more than that. Maximum to 3 marks and 4 marks. One small tip which I want to give you is that whenever you are sitting for any examination, don't just start writing in a paragraph. Always give point, give a bullet point or a numericals, and give a heading. Always give a heading whenever you are writing any answer. And one more thing, wherever you find to give any kind of examples, like if you are asked that what is a small scale business, right? You have written the definition. After that, give that example only. If I want to open a parlor which worth rupees 5 lakh, it will be considered as small business. So what will be the benefit? Yeah, the student who is not giving an example or not writing the answers in bullet points and giving a heading, obviously will get at least 1 to 2 marks less than the person or than the student who is giving the examples as well as giving this bullet points and headings. Okay, and you must be knowing that 1 and 2 points can, I mean, create a huge difference in your percentage as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so always try to give this. Fine. So what are the features of small business? First one is limited investment. As we have already discussed that the investment has to be low. We cannot keep on investing in a small scale and still it to be termed as a small scale. So here it is limited to here written, in a small business enterprise, capital is supplied by an individual or a small group of individuals. As per a census of small scale units in India, mostly small business enterprises are run as sole proprietorship and partnership. So what happens? Obviously, when you have a limited investment, then obviously it has to be a sole proprietorship. As I was giving the example of a parlor for you. So obviously, you know that if you are opening a parlor, then obviously your investment or your capital is limited. You cannot keep on investing, right? Because every individual has a limited capacity. You can take loan from bank or you can take loan from your relatives, but obviously that to a certain extent. You cannot keep investing in that like a large companies like Tata and Birla, right? Because they have so many crores and crores and crores of money, as well as so many investors. But for you, you don't have that much of investment power. So it has to run in a sole proprietorship, or maybe you and your friend wanted to start up a parlor, so it will be considered as a partnership. There also the limitation of capital is there, because both of you can contribute. You cannot provide share to the public to take the public fund, right? So your capital is limited. Next is personal character or owner management. So obviously, if you are opening a parlor, then obviously you are the owner, because it's a sole proprietorship. As you must be knowing that in a sole proprietorship, a sole proprietor has to manage everything for his business or her business. There is no other manager who is appointed for doing that, because your capital is limited. So you have to manage your whole business. So here also the same case, it's written, a small business is identified with its owners who themselves act as managers, managers as such have maximum motivation to work, as they themselves happen to be the owners also at the same time. So obviously, if you are looking after your business and you are managing your business, then obviously you will be managing it in a proper way. You will be motivated to work hard so that you can get more and more profit out of your business, right? But suppose if you have appointed a manager for your business, will he work that much as you will be working for your business?
No, ma'am.
Why no? What do you think?
Because
It's just a general question, nothing related to your study. Yeah, tell
that's
me.
our business, so we will work hard for it to earn profit than that of the
Absolutely.
employees.
Absolutely. And the manager will know that even if he doesn't work hard, every month he is going to get a salary from the owner. So he will work hard to get that extra profit for you, right? So that is a benefit also in a small business. When the owner is only managing the business, he or she will work so much that they start earning a good amount of profit from the business. Next is labor intensive. So mostly small business, as your capital investment is less, so it tends to be a labor intensive. Labor intensive means,
People
what
are
do you mean by
engaged in
labor?
this run machines.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So labor intensive means you are using more manpower than machineries for doing the production purpose or service, whatever the business is, to carry on with that business. So it is much more labor intensive, and the machinery and equipments used are not very sophisticated and are operated manually. So even if you are using any kind of machineries, those are mostly manually operated. It is not automatic, because it's a small business, your capital is low, and obviously there are some parameters. Beyond that, if you are doing, then it will not be termed as a small business. Are these three features clear to you now?
Yes, ma'am.
Wherever you will face problem, Harshita, do let me know. Otherwise, how
Okay, ma'am.
I won't be able to understand where you are facing problem. Okay, next is unorganized labor. So unorganized, why? Because, first you tell me, what do you think? Why it is unorganized? Then I will explain.
Unorganized means they're not so professional, I guess,
Um,
in it.
Good. Why do you think that they are not professional?
Because they may be not working for so many years.
Okay.
It can be the
And what
reason.
can be other? So, so if I say that, why are you putting unorganized labor then? If you know that they are unorganized, then why you are keeping them?
Because they'll do the work in very less salary.
Absolutely right. Very good. So obviously, as your scale of business is small, so you don't need any kind of very skilled person or very technologically savvy person. You need people who will work for you, and at the minimum or cheapest price. If you have to engage someone who have MBA and suppose 15 years of working experience and have worked with some big shots, then obviously they will not come and work for you in your small business, because they know you will not be able to provide that much of salary to them. So obviously you are keeping those laborers who will be working for you at a cheap, I mean, remuneration, but will be doing all the work that you will ask them to do. That's why they are unorganized, because they don't have that knowledge to be organized and skilled that much in comparison to the other labors, which a small business person cannot afford, right? So here it is written, small business enterprise employ less number of workers as compared with big business enterprise. Workers of these units do not form labor unions and remain unprotected. So you must be knowing about the labor unions and labor strikes, union strikes in big companies and big factories, right? You must have heard of that.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes or no? If you don't know, then I will explain that. What is labor union?
Like they do protest if they don't get that protection or
Yeah.
kind of facilities.
Exactly. So they group together, all the laborers group together, and they form a union. and they elect one leader for them who will become the middleman between the owner and the laborers. Whatever problems the laborers are having, that middleman or the leader will be telling that to the higher authority, as well as whatever the suggestions of the higher authority, that will be conveyed back to the laborers, right? So that is known as the labor union. So in a small scale organization where is hardly 3 4, just a minute, huh? I'm getting a message. So whenever, so as you are doing in a small business, what happens? The You don't have that much of employees with you, so they cannot form a labor union. So if they don't have a labor union, they don't have the protection also. Protection in the sense, if they are facing problem, they need to directly come to the owners to talk to them. They don't have any leader because they don't have a labor union. A small amount of labors are invested. That's why. Okay, last is local area of operations. Can you explain this point before I explain it to you?
Local area
Local
is
area of operations.
small industry. They mostly do in the local areas, like we have retail shops near us. Yeah.
Very good. So obviously, why they are locally situated? Why not extended further?
Because they don't have that amount of money to go to the city and do their business out there.
Exactly. Because they are working in a small scale, and if you're working in a small scale, your capital will be low, your employees will be low, and you cannot extend to, I mean, so much extended that you will go out of your local area and operate. So that's why they have a local area of operations. Fine. Next, I proceed to the problems faced by small business. This question is very, very, very important and mostly comes in 4 to 6 marks. Okay, what are the problems that are faced by small businesses? So first is obviously financial problem, because they don't have any person who will contribute or who will invest in small businesses, as well as they don't have any kind of backups also to invest further in their businesses. So the first crunch they face is the financial problems. So here it is written, small scale industries usually do not have sufficient funds to meet their fixed capital and working capital requirements. Institutional lenders are generally reluctant to advance money to small industries since they are not in a position to offer guarantee required by the financial institutions, and their capacity to repay the loan is little. So obviously what happens, the banks and the institutional lenders also, they feel reluctant to provide them with the loan because they feel, or they feel insecure that they will not be getting back the loan money along with the interest, because small businesses, they cannot guarantee that much of financial stability to them. So that's why they also sometimes ignore or deny to give financial support or loans to the small businesses. Next is next point is faulty planning. So as you are doing a small business, you are not appointing any proper management board, because you must be knowing that in a big business what happens, a management board is there who takes all kind of the management decision, administrative decision, and planning and decision making things are done by them, and they are on the top level of the management who gets a high amount of salary from the company just to plan. Here what happens, everything has to be done by the owner, and every person has a limited knowledge or limited planning capacity, or limited capital, right? So next is, suppose you have planned for something for your business and it did turn up well. So what happens? You have a faulty planning, and because of the faulty planning, the economic conditions also drop. Suppose you thought that you will be earning some profit, because of the faulty planning, you are incurring loss for the business. But that mostly doesn't happen in big businesses because they have the talented person who takes the decision for the business. But here you cannot afford them. So here it is written, faulty planning is a major problem of small business No proper viability studies, technical or economic, are carried out by the small firms before they are sponsored. Small firms cannot afford the preparation of a project report for which large unit can pay fat fee to a consultant. Consultant means the person who takes any kind of decisions or planning for the business. Cannot afford them, so obviously your planning process is faulty enough. Your means the small scale industries, right? Next is shortage of raw materials and other infrastructural facilities. Can you explain that? What do you think? What will be the, uh, explanation under this point?
Like the small
Shortage
business,
of raw materials and tell me.
small business people cannot afford too much to buy the raw to take up it
Okay.
and
So if you have less raw material, what will happen? If you have a shortage of raw material, what will happen?
less production
Very good. And if you have a less production, what will happen?
and will be less amount like you will have less profit, less selling and
Okay,
less
so less production means absolutely the last end is less profit. But if you have less production, that means your production process is stuck. If your production process is stuck, enough goods that you as per the demand in the market, so obviously you are losing out of it. As well as other infrastructural facilities means obviously you will not have that much of machinery which can produce that goods for to meet the demand in the market. So obviously as a whole these are constraining the growth path of the small scale business. So let's see what is written here. Small business industries suffer from accurate shortage of basic raw materials. In most of the cases, when raw materials are in short supply, large scale business enterprise grab the entire supply. So what happens? They cannot supply in the market, and that opportunity is being grabbed by the big enterprise because they don't have any kind of shortage of raw materials because of the capital they have. After that, what is written? Because of their stronger bargaining position, small scale enterprise also face lack of other infrastructural facilities like water and power connection, and a shortage of power leads to underutilization of plant capacity. So even if they have the plant and machinery, maybe they don't have the proper electricity there or proper power there. So maybe they cannot use proper water for the machineries that they need. So as a whole, they face problem, which a big concern doesn't face because they have ample of opportunities and they can utilize their plant and machinery in a proper way and they grab the market. And that's how the small scale business are left behind. Next is lack of latest technology. Can you explain this point? What do you think?
like small business cannot afford like machines and new technologies, so they have to take up the old practice of doing things.
So if they're using the old practices, then what is happening? I mean, what will happen?
Like they will, people will not be so attracted to it. Maybe the customers.
Absolutely correct, Harshita. Absolutely correct. So suppose just let's take the example of this one. People are nowadays using everyone using Android phones, right? And if I Android phones, and that's why we can use this WhatsApp, Facebook, social medias, and everything. We can connect with each other. But suppose I'm still using that Nokia, जो पहले वाला था ना, Nokia का फोन इतना बड़ा वाला था जो
Yes, sir.
टूटता भी नहीं था फेंकने से भी, याद है? Go phones.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I'm using that phone. What will happen? Will I be able to, suppose I have only that phone with me. I don't have any kind of Android phone, any new technology. So will I be able to be connected socially? Will I be
So
able to operate any social technology? No, I will be lagged behind. I will not be aware that what are the new technologies that have come up, right? I will not be aware of Facebook or WhatsApp or how to use this online educational platform and everything, right? So lack of latest technology. Now, another question that should come, that why I will be using that Nokia one? Maybe I cannot afford the Android phone. That's why I'm still using the Nokia one, the previous one, which I'm just talking about, not the new Nokia phones. Okay. So that is the problem of the small scale business also. Because of lack of capital, they cannot afford the latest technology, which cost a hole in their pocket. So they're still using the previous technology, as you have rightly said. So the previous technology is not being I mean, the customers are not attracted to that products which have been produced from that old technology, where they're getting different kind of product out of the latest technology that have come in the market. So that is also a problem that is faced by the small scale business. Am I clear till here?
Yes.
Before I proceed further, I just want to know few of the points that you have understood from this particular question, because it's very important question. Tell me whatever you have
Problem faced
understood.
by small industries
Yes.
versus financial problems. They don't have that cap amount
Hmm.
to invest in the capital, and so the employees
Okay.
less. They don't have managers. They do their own.
Hmm. Hmm.
And second is faulty planning. Like they don't have consultants to tell them.
Good.
And the fourth one, this one is latest technology. They cannot afford it.
Good. So that is the lack of latest technology. Then there was another one. Try
Raw
to remember.
materials. Lack of raw materials.
Very good. Lack of raw materials, infrastructure. Fine. Okay. So we are coming to the last part of this marketing of the problems that are faced by small scale industries. That is marketing problems. Now, other problems we have already discussed. They have financial problems. They have production problems. They have planning problem. They have another problem also, marketing the products. Suppose they have produced few of the products. How will they market their products? Because they cannot afford advertisement, spending on advertisement. They don't have proper salesman who will actually capture the market for them. So they also face many kind of marketing problems as well. So let's see what is written here. It's written lack of funds and facilities for advertisement. Just now I told you that. Competition from big business counterparts on ground of higher cost and inferior quality. So obviously, as not just the previous point we read, that they have a lack of latest technology, and obviously the big I mean big enterprises, they don't have any dearth of options of latest technology. So they are producing much more attractive goods for the customers. So obviously customers are compelled to buy those things rather than buying things from the small scale businesses. So they are facing the competition with the big businesses. Next is unwillingness of distribution channel to deal in products of small manufacturing units. So obviously the manufacturing units also, they don't feel like distributing the products to the market of the small businesses, because they hardly get any money for those marketing of those goods. So if you're not getting money for distribution of the goods, then they also are reluctant to do the work for them. So they are not able to create a proper market to showcase their products. Okay. Next is lack of providing after sale service. Do you know what is after sale service?
No, ma'am.
After sale service. Do you know?
No, ma'am.
Okay. After, so whichever term you will find problematic, please do ask me, huh? So after sale service means, suppose, okay, suppose you have bought a washing machine, right? And you, fine, forget about washing machine. Suppose you bought a air conditioner, AC. So AC has come to your home. After that, who does the installation? Who does the connection? You call up that shop only, that shop only, and they send some people to your home. They do the installation free of cost. They do all the necessary stuff free of cost, right? So that is known as after sale service. That means after buying the AC also, they are providing some services to you which are free of cost. So here also what happens, lack of providing after sale service. So even if the small scale business are selling their products, they are unable to give any kind of after sales assistance to them because they are least aware of all those things, right? So that is also a problem faced by them. Next is problems of recoveries or collection in case of goods sold on credit. So here also a problem that suppose, I hope I'm audible. I'm getting some noise. I hope I'm audible to you.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So problems of recoveries mean suppose someone has bought some goods on credit from the small businesses. After that, they don't have the people who can collect all those money from those people because they have shortage of staff. As we have already discussed that we have shortage of employees in small businesses. So they face this kind of problem as also. If they sell something on credit, there are no people who can collect those money from them as well. Okay, so these are the marketing problems that are also faced. Is any of the point difficult for you? Shall I explain once more?
Yes, ma'am. The second point, competition
Second point?
from the big. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Competition from the big business counterparts on ground of higher costs and inferior quality. Okay. Competition means, okay, let's take the example. Um, have you seen the terracotta products? The clay pots that are produced, terracotta products and all? Okay, you have not seen.
Yes,
Pot and potteries. Have you seen pot and potteries that you buy from Spencer's or Big Bazaars and keep as a showpiece at your home? The potteries where you keep the flowers, vases, and all handmade ones.
yes, ma'am.
Have you seen?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, or shall I give some other example to you?
Yes, ma'am.
You must have seen. You must have seen. Okay. So suppose some big concern is producing that. There's some noise coming. Are you getting that noise?
No, ma'am.
Just a minute. Maybe I'm getting the noise of fan or something like that. Okay, so what happens? Suppose the pots and potteries which you are getting from Spencer's or Big Bazaar or any kind of mall that have been produced by large companies, and you will see that and sometimes you will see on the roadside also the clay pots, the terracotta products are being sold also. People mostly go and buy from Spencer's and Big Bazaar thinking that this will be much more better quality than those pots and potteries which the roadside shopkeepers or I mean the shoppers I mean shop from the shopkeepers of the roadside or the road pavements by thinking that the goods will be of inferior quality. So what the small business are facing, maybe both the things are of same quality, but the mindset of the people that if I buy from the shop, I will get a good quality of product, and if I buy from a footpath, it will be a bad quality product. So they are facing competition because the person mostly the big concerns they are buying the goods from the small businesses and selling in Spencer's and Big Bazaar where people are buying and which they are marketing the products on their own. Maybe they are bringing the products from their shop and selling on the footpath. People are not buying from there. So they are not getting the direct money from the people. So they are facing the competition between the big businesses and small businesses as well. Big businesses are able to market their products through Spencer's and by showing some discounts and all. The small businesses they are unable to market their products. So they are facing the competition. Is it clear now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sure, or shall I explain once more?
No, ma'am. I got it.
Fine. Okay, next is role of small business in rural India. This is also an important question, mostly comes for 6 marks. So what is the role of small business in rural India? So first is employment generation, because as we have already came across the point that it is much more labor intensive. So if you are opening a small business in the rural India means in the villages of India, then more and more people will get employment opportunities because in a small business you need much more manpower than machineries. right? So first role is employment generation. Next is reduce rural to urban migration. Can you explain this point? Reduce rural to urban migration.
Mm,
Okay. So mostly what happens in the rural India or rural areas or villages, people don't get the job opportunity. For getting a job, for earning their livelihood, they have to migrate from their hometown to different big cities so that they can earn their livelihood, as they don't have any kind of job opportunities at their home place. So what happens if in the rural India there are more and more small businesses that are coming up, people will not have to migrate from their home place to the big cities in search of job. They can easily get jobs in the home place only, in the small villages, and they can earn their livelihood. So the migration will reduce. Migration means shifting from one place to another in search of job. You're in search of job. So what will happen? People can stay at their home place and still can earn their livelihood. They don't have to think to shift to some other place, which is totally a strange and unacquainted place for them to earn money for their livelihood. So that is the second advantage. Third is best utilization of local resources. Can you explain this part? Any idea? Best utilization of local resources.
the raw materials in the local areas are very cheap than,
Good. For that, what happens?
so the company, I think, they utilize it as they are cheap.
Okay. To some extent, it's right. Try more. Think and try more. Try to explain it. Best utilization of local resources.
So
Think.
the people will work for getting that local raw materials, the local people.
Yes, absolutely right. So the local people will get the. Harshit, I think your mic is having noise. Can you please switch off your mic once and then switch it on? When you are talking, I'm not getting that noise. Yes, now it's absolutely fine. Whenever you will say no, just switch on your mic and then say. I think your mic is creating some noise. Will it be fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So best utilization of local resources means mostly you must have seen that in the villages, as you don't have that much of people that they are settling there, so you don't have to build the buildings and all. So mostly the local resources are abundant in a rural areas. So if the small businesses are there in the villages of India, they can utilize the raw materials at a very cheaper rate as well as at the best possible way, because those are raw materials and those are you have not migrated to somewhere, or you have not given to the big companies yet, because they are in the rural areas of India, and you can utilize that in a proper way, and those raw materials are much cheaper than you will get from any kind of cities or any other places where the population is more. So if the small businesses are open in small areas, people will get employment. They don't have to migrate from one place to another, as well as they can use the local resources which are much more cheaper. Um, Fine. Next is promotes rural development and growth. Promotes rural development and growth means, so if you see that in your suppose you stay in a village, okay, let's suppose there are no electricity, there is hardly any kind of resources, people are actually moving out of your place in search of jobs and all, and suddenly few of the small scale businesses have start up in the business. What do you think, what are the changes that are coming to what are going to come in your village with those small businesses that have come to your place?
We get employment,
Get employment, okay.
so we'll have
Visual, sorry, I couldn't hear.
financial development.
And what else? What kind of develop? What else you will see in your village if business starts coming up there?
There will be development. Rural development, like constructing good
Like
roads.
very good construction of good roads. Next, what else we will get to see? Proper electricity you will start getting, because obviously in the small businesses you will need electricity for running of your machineries and plants. So obviously the electricity will also develop. Then you will get to see much more people around, because people will start getting job and they will flock there to get to do the work. So obviously there will be rural development, and most important point that you have already told me, that is transportation, development of transportation and roadways. So if those are being developed, what will happen? Whatever you are producing in your village, that can easily be transported to big cities, and you can start getting income from the big cities, which was not prevalent when there were not no businesses in the rural areas, right? So that's how it promotes the rural development and growth. Next is equitable distribution of income. Equitable distribution means, any idea? Will you try to explain this?
Equal distribution of income.
How?
Like there would be no
Think.
competition between the workers. So maybe
Okay. Anything else? Anything else? Okay, let me explain. Equitable distribution of income means obviously equally distribution. So suppose previously what used to happen when there was no small scale business in the rural areas, people used to migrate from one place to another in search of job. Now, the people who have migrated, they're earning good amount of money from the big cities. What about the poor people who are staying back at the home place? They're hardly getting anything to eat also, right? Their livelihood is very poor. So that means there is no equitable distribution of income. But suppose if small scale industries are coming in rural areas, what will happen? A person, suppose he has a pond. Okay, he has a pond. He can easily start pisciculture, right? Pisciculture from and easily can transport those fishes to the different parts of the cities and can start earning income. So those kind of business mentality will also start growing. They don't have to shift from one place to another to in search of jobs to earn livelihood, and there will be equitable distribution of income. Whatever you have, you can start getting income out of that. If you have a pond, you start pisciculture. If you have, suppose, what shall I say, if you are good in artwork, handicrafts, you can start a handicrafts small business at your home only. And if all the other facilities are properly given to you, you can easily distribute your products to the big cities and get the income from there. So that's how it is the income is equally distributed now. Not like the previous one where only the rich were getting rich and the poorer were getting poorer day by day. It should not be the case if the small businesses are going in the rural areas as well. Next is improved standard of living. So if people are getting income at their workplace, what will happen? The standard of living will also improve. It will also develop. People will start earn more, and that's how they can also spend more for their family, for their relatives, or for their friends. So standard of living is improving. Increase tax revenue. So obviously government will also think from its side. So what government will think? Obviously, if small businesses are starting in the rural areas, tax generation will start. As we all know, whoever is earning, they have to pay taxes to the government. So from the rural areas, previously the government was not getting any kind of taxes because there was no industries, no income generation way. But now when the small scale industries are coming up, then obviously the government will also start getting revenue from there. So that is a positive point for the government as well. So these are the roles of small scale industries in rural India. Any of the point you have not understood, then only I will proceed further.
no, ma'am, I've understood.
You have understood. Fine. Next. Okay. So next is types of industries that are established in rural, backward and hilly areas. So what are the different types of small scale industries? Mainly you will see agro-based industry. Agro-based means agriculture. Out of the agricultural products, you are Suppose you are making flattened rice or you are making puffed rice. I hope you know all these things. Puffed rice in the sense, I don't know exactly what it is called in Hindi. What is puffed rice in Hindi? Murmura या something कहते हैं इसको, right?
White color, I think.
White color puffed ones. I think it is murmura in Hindi, if I'm not wrong. Then flattened rice, that means chirwa. So all those are the products of rice only, and rice is agro-based. So in those agro-based industries, this puffed rice, flattened rice, any other kind of agricultural products are produced. Suppose from the mustard seeds, the mustard oil is being produced. So those are all agro-based industries. And obviously, agro-based industries can only take place in small areas, in small rural areas, because there only you can get lands after lands where you can grow agricultural products. And side by side, if you start small scale business, from those agricultural products which you are producing, you can start producing your this agricultural produce as well. So here it is written, most of the industries established in these areas are based on agriculture. These industries manufacture many new products from the agricultural produce. Next is cottage industry. So these industries are located inside the houses. They include beekeeping, soap making, handicrafts. That means making those pot and potteries that we get to see on the pavements of road. Those are mostly cottage industries. Okay, people, those who are good in handicrafts, they start making those. Then soap making, you must have seen that the soaps are also, they say that it is organic soap and handicrafted soap from small scale industries, and they sell it off. So all those industries which are located inside the house only, those are known as the cottage industries. Next is khadi and village industries, where these industries cover weaving khadi cloth, preparing spices, making jaggery, mustard oil, woodwork, pottery, candles, etc. So any kind of small things, uh, uh, I mean, that take place in small. I mean, for that you don't need many people. You need a few people who are labor intensive, and business can start working on it, like mustard oil, jaggery making, spices making, wood work, potteries, candles, soap making, everything comes under khadi and village. So mostly three types. One is agro means directly from agricultural products, you are making any kind of produce. Cottage industries means small industries where you are making handicrafts, where you are weaving something, you are making soap, you are making honey. So those are known as cottage industries. Khadi and village industries are almost like the cottage industries, where they produce jaggery, woodwork, potteries, mustard oil, etc. Any problem here? Now, what do you want? Do you want that I me proceed further, or you want any kind of recapitulation from where I mean till here? Because if I start teaching all the things in one class, you will get messed up. It's better whatever you have understood, just to recapitulate. Or if you have understood, then I can proceed as per your call. Tell me.
Revise from the starting.
Revise from the starting. So you don't want to proceed further because it is only halfway to the chapter, right? So for that, you have to take another class to complete the chapter. But I really don't want to proceed further because it will mess up. So fine. So shall I start asking questions, or you need some time to recapitulate and then only I start asking questions? What do you want?
You can ask.
I can ask. Okay, very good. So I will start with. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen first then. Okay, I have stopped sharing the screen. You tell me what. Okay, for manufacturing enterprises, what are the different types and their parameters? Manufacturing enterprises.
Manufacturing industry, micro, small, medium. For micro,
Very
you
good.
need investment till 25 lakhs.
Good.
And then
Investment in what? First, you have to tell me that investment in what?
Manufacturing. Micro.
Investment in, no. In micro, you are investing till 25 lakhs, but in what? Where you are investing? Plant and machinery.
Plant and machinery.
Okay. Tell me. Second one.
And for small
Small.
business, 5 crore.
Very good. Then,
And for medium, we have
and
10 crore.
investment in plant and machinery. Good. What about the service enterprises?
Service enterprises, we invest
Invest
on
in what?
micro service like
Micro, we are investing in what? In manufacturing industry, we were investing in plant and machinery. In service industry, we are investing in what? कहाँ पे invest हो रहा है? Equipments. Okay. सर्विस इंडस्ट्री इक्विपमेंट्स में इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं और पैरामीटर बताओ.
for micro, we have 10 lakh.
Good.
Small, 2 crore. And
Very good.
for medium, 5 crore.
5 crore. But always remember that you are investing in equipment for service enterprises and on plant and machinery for manufacturing enterprises. Fine. Okay. Tell me two problems that are faced by small scale business. Two problems.
Limited capital.
Very good.
Invested.
And
employment.
okay. Then
Lack of technologies.
too good. Next. Anything else? Very good. Fine. Next, I would like to ask you, tell me three roles of small scale industry in rural India.
First is employment generation.
Good.
Second is the economic development.
Very good. Economic development, how? Can you explain that point, economic development?
If they are employed, they will get the salary, wages. Economically developed.
Good. Third?
Rural development.
Rural development. In what sense? How?
Development of rural, like transportation.
Transportation, good roads, electricity, water supply, power supply, right? Very good. Okay. Tell me three different types of industries that are established in small scale businesses in rural India, backward areas.
First is agro-based industry.
Good.
Agriculture. Second is
Good.
cottage industry.
Cottage industry, yeah.
And the third one is khadi and village industries.
Okay, can you give me one example each?
For
one example each.
We have the basic agriculture like flattened rice.
Making flattened rice out of rice. Like this you have to give. Good. Then?
And for
cottage
industry, we have beekeeping and handicrafts.
Good. And the last one?
The last one was khadi, like we have village.
Woodcraft, woodwork, potteries, candle making, soap making, everything. Cottage industries and khadi industries are more or less same. Okay. So only agro-based, keep that in mind. Any kind of agricultural products will be given, will be transformed to some other produce in case of agricultural products, agro-based industries. Cottage and khadi more or less same. The examples are also mostly same. Okay. So I think we can proceed a little further. You have understood. Okay. I'm sharing my screen again. Just a minute. Yeah, is it visible? Just check.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Now, as please switch off your mic, Harshita, please. Okay. Now, as we were discussing that government also see that more and more small businesses come up in the rural areas, thinking that if more and more business come up, what will happen? They will start getting revenues from those industries as taxes, right? So for that, they give some special assistance so that the small scale industries can come up in the backward areas and rural areas. There are few uh, development association who actually provide assistance and services to them. So we are going to learn about those um, establishments of the government who provide help to the small scale industries. So here it is written, special assistance provided to industries established in rural and backward areas. First one is National Bank for Agricultural and Rural Development, NABARD. So they actually help by giving loans to the rural artisans, rural industries, cottage industries, agricultural industries. They give different kinds of tools and equipments. They help in the purchasing of plants and machineries so that they can continue with their businesses. So this type of question, sometimes they can ask you for giving the name of those, or they can give you a short note. They can ask you for short note, like short note on NABARD. That time you have to write down this small description which I have mentioned here. Let me read it out from here. NABARD, established by the government in 1982 to give action to promote the rural industries. It has adopted multi-purpose strategies in promoting rural business in India. It supports small industries, rural artisans, rural industries, cottage industries, along with agriculture. Also, it sets up training and counseling, plus it gives development programs for rural enterprise. That means how NABARD is helping. Firstly, they are giving loans to these rural areas, rural industries and artisans and cottage industries. Moreover, they are giving training as well as they are counseling them, as well as they are arranging development programs so that the entrepreneurs can be properly trained. They could come to know that what are the things that they need to do to develop their business to earn more profit. So that is the work of NABARD. Next, assistance given by a rural small business development center. So RSBDC, the short form is RSBDC. You have to remember all these names, okay? And small description for short notes, which I've already mentioned in this PPT. So here it is written, RSBDC is a government center sponsored by NABARD for micro, small and medium businesses, which is set up by World Organization. The primary purpose of RSBDC is to work for socially and financially disadvantaged people and group. It does many programs on skill up, gradation, entrepreneurship, awareness, counseling, and training. These programs motivate various unemployed youth and young women learn different trades and introduce them to other good benefits of it. So how they help? Other than giving them the loan facilities, they are giving the training, they are motivating the youth and young people, young women. Maybe they are training the young women to make how to make jaggery out of sugarcane, right? So this kind of training, or how to make a handicraft product, how to make a pottery. So they are giving trainings to different youth as well as young women so that they can also get to learn all these things and start earning, and they can get engaged in a small scale businesses. So like that, and RSBDC is also helping. Uh, Next is NSIC. So that is National Small Industries Corporation. So it was set up in 1995 by the government to popularize and support small businesses, focusing on commercial aspects. They supply imported goods and machines on hire purchase agreement. That means NSIC is actually importing the goods for the small scale industries at a cheaper rate so that they don't have to pay more to the big concerns. Next is procurement of supply imported indigenous raw materials. So they are also supplying raw materials. Developing small business by importing their products, supervising services, awareness on technical gradation. That means in case of any kind of new technology that has come up, NSIC is actually helping the small business person with the upgradation of those technologies. So how are they helping? They are supplying the imported raw materials, machineries. They are developing, giving different kind of supervising and trainings, as well as awareness of the technical upgradation. If any kind of technical upgradation is there, they are giving training to them as well. Okay, so I don't want to proceed further, Harshita, because only 10-15 minutes are left. Out of this three part, have you missed out something? Do you want to know more about that?
No.
Okay, the assistance part which I was teaching you, you have to just remember. Mostly, you will see that all their assistants are almost same. Everyone is giving training or counseling or they are supplying, but you have to remember the name of those institutions. That is most important. Now, for the rest of the chapter, obviously, as you can understand, it's a long chapter and I cannot finish in one particular class. If you wish, you can take up other classes with me. Then I will be completing. And as you have case studies also, today I will be providing you with some questions and case studies, everything. Few of the questions you will be able to answer because that will be based on the part which I have already taught you, and rest of the questions obviously in the next class after I teach you, you can able to answer. But what I would like you to do, start writing those answers because those are a compilation of important questions from board. Okay, the board questions are compiled. I have given a short note also. I am uploading that. Just check whether you are getting it or not. Just a minute, huh? Just check, Harshita. Did you get it?
Yes, ma'am.
Question bank I have given. Try to open it. And one notes also I have given. But as these notes and questions are from the full chapter, but I have not completed the full chapter today, you will be able to answer few of the questions and few of the part of the notes will be relevant to you. So I would like you to go through all these things and start writing the question answers. In case of any difficulty, obviously in the next class you can ask me or I can help you out with your corrections and everything.
Okay.
So are you able to open it?
Yes, ma'am.
Both the PDFs?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. Okay, so from this chapter, what else? I mean, other chapters, where are you facing problems, or other subjects, where are you facing problem, Harshita? May I know?
Not that problem, but I was facing problem in this chapter in business.
Okay, so no other chapter in business studies, only this one only. I can help you with it.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, just a minute. I need to take one screenshot of it that we have. Okay. So you are from which school? I didn't ask that also.
Air Force School, Hashimara. Air Force School.
Hashimara, and you are from? You are from? I mean, where do you?
Kalchini.
I can't hear you. Kathi.
Kalchini.
Kalchini. Where is that?
District Alipurduar.
Alipurduar. It must be very cold out there, right? Too cold?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what I was thinking, shall we, because we have still 10 minutes left with us, can we start with a few of the questions? Can you open that question bank or should I show you? Should I share my screen or will you open it up?
You can share your screen.
Okay, let me do that. Is my screen visible? Not yet. Is my screen visible, Harshita?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So see here, I have made questions for 1 mark. Then you have questions for 3 marks. Then you have case studies. Okay. So let's start with the objective questions. Few of the objective questions you will be able to answer. The investment limit of SSI. SSI means small scale industry does not exceed. Options are 4. Above 2.5 lakh and up to 5 crore, rupees 2 crore, rupees 3 crore, and rupees 10 crore. What will be the answer?
By A. Yes.
A.
Above.
Good. Good. Next, the maximum investment limit of tiny sector is rupees 1 lakh, rupees 10 lakh, rupees 25 lakh, and rupees 10 crore. Tiny sector means micro sector.
25 lakh.
Very good. 25 lakh. Okay. Small business are helpful to generate more employment, economic strength, both A and B, and corruption.
Both A and B.
Okay, very good. So more employment and economic strength. Good. Next one is which of the following provides opportunity for artisan? Companies, large scale business, small business, and none of the above.
Artisans. What is artisans?
Artisans means the small rural people who are good in handicrafts and all, who make potteries and paint it and weave something. Those are artisans.
C. Small business.
Good. Small business. Next is which of the following is helpful in the balanced regional development? Large scale business, small business, companies, and none of the above. Balanced regional development.
Small business.
Small business. Balanced regional development means equal distribution of income. Okay. Regional balanced development. Next, dash means the process of establishment of a business unit by an individual. Options are entrepreneur, entrepreneurship, enterprise. Acha, you will not be able to see all this because you have not done this part. Next one also not done, not done, not done. Okay, these are from the later part of the chapter. Okay, tell me here. Name any one institution, number 15. Name any one institution which provides incentive to small industries. Hmm. We have just started with that part. 3 of that I have already done. NABARD, exactly. But always give the full form as well as the short form. So as you have said NABARD, can you tell me the full form of it?
National Bank of.
National Bank of. Think and then say. NABARD. NABARD.
Rural Development.
Try. I'm giving you some time to think. NABARD. NABARD. No?
No, ma'am.
Okay, I will show you that. Before that, the next one. Write the full form of DIC. Acha, DIC we have not done. Okay, let me show you what is NABARD. See what is written.
Agriculture and rural.
So NABARD means National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development. And next was DIC. DIC we have not read it yet, but still I'm showing you. DIC is District Industry Center. It also helps with the assistance. So whatever we will be studying from now, they are actually the institution which help the small scale industries to grow. So DIC is District Industry Center. And what is the full form of NABARD?
National Bank for Agriculture and Rural Development.
Good, very good. Fine. So let's move on to that. Next,
I need to answer. Your voice is not audible.